Letter to my younger self. What would you have liked your younger self to know? Good morning. My name is Penny Sesko, and I volunteer for Motherless Daughters. I am sharing a Monday morning ministry moment with you, and I'm excited. This message is for all of us. This ministry was created to empower, educate, support women who are motherless. As you watch this video, share your thoughts and questions in the comment section. I will respond to all comments. If you are aware of other motherless daughters, share this message with them. This is a letter, so I'm going to have to read it. Dear Penny, looking back over 66 years, remember it's been a wonderful life. Not to say that there haven't been hard times and sad events, but overall, it's been pretty good. Williamson was a great small town to grow up in. It was bigger in the 50s through the 80s than it is in 2021. Your family, remember, lived in a small two-bedroom house. When your brother was born, there were four kids and mom and dad. Next door, the big two-story house with three bedrooms was being foreclosed and your parents bought it. You didn't have any idea that it was being foreclosed until recently you asked your sisters how you all could afford that. Families in Williamson lived close. Neighbors were there through thick and thin. As kids, you played outside games in your yards or in the street. Hopscotch, tag, dodgeball, marbles, or Red Rover. You rode bikes for hours, roller skated or took hikes through the woods. Just be home before the street lights came on. When your parents divorced, you were 5 or 6. You have no memory of ever being told that it was happening. There are some vague images that you have of your parents arguing. Now you know your oldest sister has many more vivid memories of issues she saw and experienced. Over the years, you've asked her many questions about that part of your life. You hear the sadness, the worry, and concern, and realize that you were saved from those memories. After the divorce, your father lived with his mother. Then he remarried and moved to a faraway state. You saw him usually 2 weeks per year. He called every month to check in with you and your siblings. You can still hear your mother telling you throughout the years that your dad loved you kids. He just didn't love me. That was enough for you. You never questioned anything else. Penny, your family was poor, but you don't remember realizing that then. You were happy. You had great friends and people in your lives that cared for you. The repairs needed at the house were not always fixed quickly, but somehow your mother kept the roof over your head, loved you kids, and you all were happy. After graduating from college, you went back to your hometown to work in the schools. 2 years later, your mother died from a sudden cardiac arrest. Your brother found her, called you, and you drove there in 2 to 3 minutes. The apartment you lived in was only 1 mile from your mom's house. You were there before the paramedics started CPR, although you knew she was already gone. You followed the ambulance to the hospital where the doctors told you and your brother that your mom had died. A friend who was with you started to cry. You yelled at her to stop that. Why did you do that? You didn't cry for 2 more days when you saw a window dressing that reminded you that your mother was supposed to walk you down the aisle when you got married. That's when the tears started flowing. From the hospital, you had to call your older sister to tell her that your mom had died. She told you not to call your middle sister because she was all alone with her daughter. Her husband was out of town. When your oldest sister and her family drove to get your middle sister, she never had to say a word. Your sister could tell by the look on her face that mother was gone. That was March of 1979. When your brother and you returned home, four saints from your church sat in their car waiting for you: Darvin, Joanne, Nina, and Mary Lee were there and stayed with you until your family arrived at 2 o'clock in the morning. Christians who know God's love know how to share it. That week was a blur. 2 days after the funeral, do you remember sitting on the porch with your best friend? You asked her, "What were you supposed to do now?" Remember how lost you felt? Your mother taught all of you well. She taught you to love the Lord, and she taught you to be thankful. You know now that when you were experiencing your worst time, that God was there to care for you. 3.5 years later, you married the best man that has supported, loved, and encouraged you. Surprisingly, he was also from your hometown. Your mothers were friends in school. You two have been blessed with two wonderful children, and you taught them to love and rely on God. In 2000, you joined a book club at church that your friend Mary Ellen started. It was a book titled Motherless Daughters: The Legacy of Loss by Hope Edelman. There were 5 women in that book club who had never shared their stories about their mother loss. Penny, looking back on your life, it's been better than pretty good. It's been blessed. Your mother taught you and your siblings that you are children of God. He will always keep you in your loving arms. Love you, Penny Sesko. Ladies, may you gain the knowledge to help yourself and other women manage your grief. My prayer for you today is that you know that you are not alone. You are part of a huge community of women who understand. We are here for you. May you have a blessed day. May God always be with you.